What's up, Scyushi Squad? We are back in more Trove. Today's probably going to be a shorter video. This is most of all supposed to serve as a follow-up video that I intended to have out a little bit earlier, but I've been really preoccupied with real-life stuff. So I wanted to show you guys the last of the Shadow's Eve items that I didn't show off in the actual guide video, because it ended up taking me a couple hours worth of live streams, if you ended up checking out, of me grinding over and over and over again. And I wanted to end up leaving you guys a couple hints and tricks that you guys ended up telling me while I was live streaming. So the short answer is that you are going to have the best odds of getting this particular resource, the Lunar Condensate. That was the hardest resource to actually farm out of the event. And while you can end up doing all sorts of weird things, you know, there's the enemies in the curse veil and stuff like that. Essentially what you're going to do is the highest uber world that you can, you know, the best one that you could possibly go for is U9, because U10 and U11 don't end up giving you better resources, but you can just farm in those areas if you can handle it, because of course then you can end up getting crystal drops and so on and so forth. But you're going to go into U9 and up and then search for a curse veil biome, because that's going to end up yielding the most of the lunar condensate from doing 1-star dungeons, not 3-star, and fighting enemies and wolf enemies and stuff like that. Now, another very quick trick that you guys let me know about is the green Thumbzilla ally. So this thing actually right here, I completely forgot about this ally. What this essentially does is it is a gardening ally that will harvest plants that you end up essentially walking over. So let's just say, for example, that this NPC right here is going to end up being one of the cursed essence or the cursed weed from, you know, the enemy drops that you find in Curse Veil and so forth. You would essentially just walk over it, and then so long as you have the ally equip, it's going to automatically harvest it, and then it's going to go into your character. Where you end up actually getting the ally is a little bit annoying, just because it is out of it's out of harvesting 15,000 plants, which is quite brutal if you haven't gotten into any of the gardening stuff. Now, anyways, let's get into the rest of it. So these are just going to end up being bomb styles. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be showing you those today. They are quite literally just used in Bomber Royale, but you do want to grab them for mastery. Same with the memento. A memento is literally just an item to give you mastery and doesn't really serve any other purpose. Of course, there is going to end up being all sorts of other items that you guys kept asking me about, namely in the Wolves Den, you're going to be able to get a couple different Shadow Hunter costumes, well, rarely a Shadow Hunter costume, a Lunar Lancer costume. You can check out my other Shadow's Eve videos to end up knowing more about that, because today we're just going to be focusing on, this is going to end up being one of the allies. So this is going to end up being the stats as follows, if it would ever show it. 10 movement speed, 5% to max health, minus 5% incoming damage. There you go. And then it's going to end up being this little ally you can see walking around beside me right here, which is very, very cute. So there is going to end up being this ally as well, which is the Shaded Crook. So it's going to give 8 superstition, which is a joke stat that doesn't do anything, 7 flask capacity, and 6% income, 6% to crit damage. Also a chance to reduce ability cooldowns when a nearby enemy dies. It's going to be this little bird thing right here. And then this is going to end up being the mount that I was talking about. And it's going to end up having kind of similar hopping around. Now, lastly, just before we call today's video, I did want to end up unboxing the Nightmare Mystery boxes and the Cursed Crates with you guys, just because I thought it would be kind of an interesting concept, because we got 114 of these bad boys, which, I mean, generally speaking, I don't think that these are going to end up having any super good items. As you can see, it's most of all just boxes dropping more boxes. I mean, basically it can end up dropping old year items. Now, speaking of which, this is the pumpkin head. This is another thing you guys kept asking me about during my live streams, which I did end up putting a YouTube short highlighting that and talking about how, oh yes, that's where you get the hat style. Otherwise, everything else, it seems, is just going to end up being recipe styles. It seems that we can get some mantha out of it though, so that's actually not too bad. But a lot of these are items that I don't necessarily, they're not going to help me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the adventure boxes is kind of cool, and I guess we could end up opening those, but you know what? Let's just use the mod so that we can just start going through these really, really quick and see if we end up getting any other super duper rare items out of it. Doesn't seem like there's that much. Yeah, there's not really that much into the terms of the loot table for those bad boys. But anyways, let's look at these cursed boxes. Gem booster box, 5 chaos chest, bound brilliance. Okay, you know what? These are actually not bad. That I don't really care about, but these are pretty good resources, actually. Funny thing is, I just had a notification. Your inventory is full in my build menu, so if I end up deleting this, now you suddenly see that banner goes into my inventory. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, and then there's going to end up being the Shadows Eve adventure boxes, which, if I recall correctly, I think... No, I actually don't have any of these in my storage. Okay, well then you know what? That means we could probably just end up opening all of these together, just because why not? The items out of them are more than likely going to end up being pretty bad. As you can see, it's just glim and pumpkins and stuff. Some of it is going to end up being old school mounts, but generally speaking, a box in a box is kind of annoying, but I mean, that's just Trove in a nutshell, isn't it? Anyways, yeah, pretty good stuff in the event overall. I'm actually quite surprised with these boxes because I didn't end up opening any of them until now. I just kind of wanted to stock up and have it as kind of a special ending to today's video. But anyways, thanks for watching. Smash like for more. Buy the merch you want, support the channel, and have a wonderful day, everybody.